All right. And I hope we get an appearance by your kitty again. I saw one walk through on that last call. I'd love that.
Yeah, he zoinked out on the couch, but you never know. He could decide he's ready for his third lunch. So,
Yeah. I just love pet appearances. Inevitably, some delivery will be made and my dogs will start barking. But
yeah.
uh, welcome, welcome. As you're coming in here, we are currently streaming live both on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Hopefully, as long as the tech is working right. Uh, so let us know you're here. As you pop in, come on in and say hello, happy Tuesday. If you've written a book or you'd love to write a book, go ahead and share the one of the book emojis sharing about that. Or if you're watching the replay, same thing. Love to see about the book writers who are in here, the authors that are here. And if you're watching again on the replay, go ahead and just share that you're watching the replay. Put an emoji. We just love to know that you're here. And as you come on, feel free. This is a great opportunity with Donna right here live to ask questions. And I'll be keeping an eye on the chats if there are some questions here, and be sure to ask Donna. So, uh, also, if you are watching the replay on YouTube or if you're listening to the Small Biz 101 podcast, hello to you as well. Thank you so much for being here. I do these interviews once or twice a month to support small business owners by providing guest experts in areas needed by entrepreneurs. We've done the last one was video marketing, really great episode with Jaya Rose in August. I can't believe it's already almost the middle of September here. Oh my gosh. But go on back. We've talked about video marketing, marketing automation, legal support for solo business owners. There's some amazing, I think one of the most popular shows was on free library resources. It's amazing what's out there, but a lot of great topics. And today we're going to be talking about the dynamic world of book writing and publishing. For you business owners in particular who are here, we'll be sharing why it's so important to share your message with the world through book writing. Now, I'd love to introduce you to my guest here. Donna Kozik is a USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestselling author, most known for her Write a Book in a Weekend virtual events, where she shows people how to write a short and powerful book, one that is modest in content, yet meaningful in message. And that's actually how I found you, Donna. It's probably been over a decade ago through that program, and now many programs since. So Donna's here. She also offers publishing services through her sister program, Done for You Publishing. Her latest project is Ask, and it is written, a journaling and community gathering program that focuses on prayer, writing, and leadership. So we'll find out more about that as we get into the discussion. So welcome, Donna. So good to have you here.
Thank you, Connie. I love doing these kinds of interviews. I was reminiscing. I think I was in Chicago at one time. You're like, "Oh, I'm in Chicago," and you invited me for breakfast. And I remember chatting and getting to know you. And that was a while ago. So I've known you for a long time and admired you for a long time. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny that you remember that, because my first memory is getting together with you in San Diego. But you're right, you're right. I think it was at the big convention center downtown near that convention center in Chicago that we first met.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And I haven't lived in Chicago now for 13 years. So farther than I thought. But so anyway, so Donna and she's just an amazing person, coach, friend. I'm just so happy that you're here. So let's kick this off. And we've got Nevada. Oh, I'm so glad that you joined us here. She said she would love to write a book, but I don't know what to write about. Oh, all right.
Mm.
Let me start this out with Donna, and then we're going to come to this question, because I bet that's a question you hear a lot, isn't it, Donna? Well,
Yes,
actually, why
it
don't we
is
just
indeed.
let's just jump into that.
Oh,
Actually, what do
right.
you suggest when people say that?
Well, a couple of things. One is that most likely you're looking to write a book to support your business or use as what I call a big business card. And a book is that universal symbol of expertise and credibility. So, first thing it does is it sets you apart as a thought leader in your field. Now, before you freak out about that, please don't. But it's easy to pick a topic, or I recommend that you pick a topic that's easy to you, something that you're used to talking about with your clients. Maybe if you have strategy sessions, even with clients, what are the questions that always come up? What kind of answers do you give because you've given them so often? And that's a great fodder for a book. You could even do like a Q&A version if you wanted to for your book, covering those questions and answers that you get all the time. Another idea is to do what I call an inch wide, mile deep, where you pick something specific about what you do, and that's your inch wide. And then you go a mile deep. You like spill your guts, like everything you know about that topic. And people are really looking for in-depth information, interesting. The more in-depth you go, actually, the more interesting the information can be. And the people, readers prefer that over a lot of things superficially. So those are a couple of ways that I'd get started.
Oh, fabulous. I love that, Donna. Thank you for sharing. And Nevada, if you want to, share about some of the thoughts that you have for further feedback, please feel free to. It's so good to have you here. All right, Don, I'd like to go back a little bit more to more of the beginning. Like, what got you into this in the first place?
Yeah. So I moved from Pennsylvania to San Diego in 2001. And on that move, I had a little binder. It was called California Bound. And it's a big binder, actually. It's just kind of like chock full of like packing lists and moving company lists and things like that. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, you know what? I think that I could turn this into a book. And my best friend, Tara, she also moved from Erie to Las Vegas. And so we co-wrote a book called 29 Days to a Smooth Move, a Household Moving Manual. And we got up on Amazon, and we actually had copies printed. And this was back before print on demand. Like, we were getting proposals from companies in India and China to print this book, and learned a lot in the process. And so then I started getting questions from people. Oh, you wrote a book. How'd you do it? And so that's how I got started in being a book coach. And then one of my first clients, Peter Wallen, he's from Erie Insurance, where I used to work. He called me up one day and he's like, I want you to help me write a book, and I'm going to use it as my big business card. I'm like, oh, ding, 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 like ideas. I'm like, I could show other people how to use a book, to use it as a big business card. And that was back in 2005. And here I am today, almost 20 years later, doing that very same thing.
And I'm sitting here thinking, after all of these moves, why didn't I buy that first book of yours? It could have come in really handy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love how just from something, it was, I love the phrase following your curiosity as opposed to following your passion, because it sounds like that's what you did. That came up, that
Yeah.
opportunity, and it was just, you continued following it on, and it's led to so many great things in your life and your work.
Yeah, I'm a big believer. That's an interesting insight, Connie. I'm a big believer in following your curiosity and then just kind of like paying attention to those ahas. Like, I'll ask the universe a question, and then I'll just kind of wait around. And when the insight comes to me, usually in the shower, it comes to me, I'm like, oh, okay, here's my answer. And then I go and take it to the next step with that. And I think that's really important. And actually, it makes life and business magical.
It does. It does. I love that. All right. Well, as I mentioned in the introduction, these interviews are primarily for small and solo business owners. And I know you've shared before that you feel every business owner, every small business owner should have a book. And why do you? And I think you've touched on that a little bit already. But why? What is the main reason for that?
Right. Well, as I mentioned, it makes a great big business card. And that is cool, obviously, to have another tool in your marketing toolbox for that. But there's actually a lot of ways that it can benefit you personally as a business owner. And one of those ways is by developing your message and your marketing message. You know, how many of us have been at a networking event? It's like, okay, you got 2 minutes, stand up and tell us about yourself and all that. And that you can become more confident in doing that once you know how to language what it is you do. And writing is a super powerful technique to really hone that message for yourself. So it's not only like your message that you're sharing with the world, but it can be, of course, your process, stories that you tell, inspirational quotes that you like, you could put in the book, and then also some facts and stats related to your business. And if you add those four things together, those things make really great content for a book, a well-rounded book, and then give you talking points, networking points, things that you could talk about in video, things that you can do workshops about, things that you can speak about. So the book can serve as a springboard for you personally. Another thing that why I recommend it is that there's magic in the process. And that is that you might know what your business is all about and who you serve. But once you start writing about it, you'll think of things you never thought before. Like in the Scarecrow says in The Wizard of Oz. And that's also magical because that gives you more of a three-dimensional kind of feeling to your message and what you share. And you never might find that unless you write. And there's just magic in that writing process.
Oh, beautiful. As you were mentioning that, I was in my mind, I was thinking, my goodness, yes, once you put that all together, it's such a great tool for multi-purposing. Just as you started describing marketing, but also for the services and products that you offer, I'm thinking a course perhaps for some of our small business owners. You have your syllabus right there in front of you. You've thought through everything and you've got that to you've got the content right there. There's so much you can do with that.
Oh, absolutely. I actually have like 10 different book structures. The Q&A is one of them. And another one is it's like writing a course in a book, sharing the what you're talking about, why it's important, a little bit of the how, about how to get started. And then you can use that as a text for your workshop or for your course, and then fill in some of that how that people will pay you for.
I think that just leads perfectly into my next question because I was going to ask, I feel like sometimes people get really overwhelmed by the whole idea. They want to write a book, but it just feels so overwhelming. Where do I start? And you just mentioned that you have 10 different uh what did you call them? 10 different.
Book structures. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So is that part of your way of making book writing easier for people?
Yes, it is. I actually have a workshop that I call 10 books that any coach could write or any business owner could write. And those are a couple of the structures. Another one example is what I call a calendar book, 30 days to, and then, or 52 weeks to, or something like that, where then the fill in the blank is something that the reader can accomplish and you walk them through it. And the nice thing is, say 30 days to, is that every day, day one, day two, day three, if that's your outline. So you just fill in those steps, and there you go. You have that content for the book. And the reader's brain loves this idea of like, I can complete this in 30 days or 7 days, whatever amount of time that you want to use. And that's a really good book because it's compelling to your readership. Again, like they feel like, oh, I can do this in 30 days or 7 days. And it empowers them, and it's a great lead generator for you.
Mhm. That is another thing that you help people do as well, right? I know you started out with write a book in the weekend, but then you expanded beyond that to helping people create lead magnets and journals and all kinds of other things to help.
Yeah, part of that magic. So write a book in a weekend is about completing that short and powerful book, as you mentioned, something that's modest in content yet meaningful in message. And then what happened is I've conducted over 100 write a book in a weekend virtual events. My first one was in September of 2008. And what happened was that people would complete the manuscript and they're like, okay, now what? What do I do to publish it? Well, I have a training as part of the weekend of like, okay, you can go to, this this print on demand publisher or Book Baby or one of these different ones, and here's how you go. And they're like, I don't want to deal with all that tech. Can you just do it for me? And so that's how Done For You Publishing was started. And we have been focusing, our focus primarily is getting our clients' books published and up on Amazon, but we have expanded into planners and journals and lead magnets and things like that, because they're all just elements of bringing content together with good design and then making it available to your audience.
Tell me more about that aspect of it, about the publishing process. Could you walk us through a little bit more what that looks like?
Sure. Yes. And so first thing, of course, you want to get a manuscript that's complete. And for all our clients, we have a "Are you ready for publishing" checklist that I go through, and I look at the manuscript, make sure all those elements are there. And then the publishing process is really something that's simple and elegant, but it's not something that you're doing every day. It's not your business. And so really what it consists of is first proofreading, because even if you know all the grammar rules, something's liable to get through. And then cover design, which is the most fun part, where you share with us maybe some images that you like, your branding colors, things like that, fonts even that you like. And we put together some cover samples, and then you pick one, and we'll adjust it until you're happy. And then it's interior design, taking that content and formatting it in such a way that it looks professional, that it looks like a book that maybe a big publisher would have done, but that you are doing it yourself. Then we create files. And for my clients, we have what I call this 3-2-1 publish your book moment. We're together on Zoom, and everybody sees you hit that button, and you publish your book. And then it's available on Amazon. And it is so satisfying, I have to say, and just a joy to be able to bring this experience to people.
Oh, I can't even imagine. And Donna, you have such a wonderful community out there. I know for those of you, and I'll ask Donna to share, and we'll share in the comments and everywhere where this is coming out, how to reach Donna, how to find out more. But what I love is the community that you've developed and how everyone supports each other throughout this entire process. And I imagine that includes what you just described as people go through that 3-2-1 process.
Right. And then we share it in our Business Authors Association on Facebook. And, I email it to my subscribers. Here's one of our new authors and everything. But even the community, I created a community to help people get the book written. And one of the ways I do that, it's called Coffee Cooler. It's a kind of a combination of coffee klatch and water cooler. And we meet every weekday. We've been meeting for over 4 years now, every weekday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. People get together, share celebrations and intentions, and then it's writing time, three 20-minute segments of writing time. And that, Connie, has really bonded people together and has created this community I'm so proud of. People who support each other, who are cheerleaders for each other, and then also some accountability to get some writing done and some words on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. The ways and the variety of ways in which you support authors, it just is incredible. I want to go back just a little bit to talk a bit more about your Write a Book in a Weekend programs, because I've attended those. I've attended many of your weekends. And for anyone who is thinking about doing this, I cannot encourage you enough to do it. Donna is all about providing value. It is just anything Donna does is jam packed with resources. Donna, you take the time to look at people's work as they're going through during the weekend. There's such a high level of support for what I would think typically when people think about that would never imagine is there. And then to continue that into the community, I just think is remarkable. So I just want to make sure anyone watching, listening knows to really hop in. If you're thinking about writing a book, or maybe you've written it and you want to jump in at that point where you need help with a fine tuning and publishing, this is the woman to talk to. I would trust no one more than I trust Donna with this.
Mm, thank you. It is really, it's a pleasure and it's a privilege. I mean, it's one of those things that, again, another shower idea. It's like I could show people how to write a book in a weekend. And it was funny because, like, after my third one, somebody emailed me and they're like, I thought we were just going to learn how to write a book. I didn't realize we were actually going to be doing it and writing a book. But that's really, that's my process of like, okay, here's a template. Here's a formula for writing your introduction. Here's a chapter formula, for filling things out. I'll review your introduction for you on Saturday night of the weekend, making sure that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. And it's just kind of like roll up your sleeves and like, let's do this.
Yep. Yep. And I see we have people both on the Facebook Live and in LinkedIn. I would just love to encourage you again, if you're thinking about writing a book, or if you have any questions about anything that we're discussing here, please go ahead and pop them into the comments so that Donna, like did early on with Nevada's question, can address those for you while you're here live. And I'm seeing there's one person here that I know has finished up her book, and I believe it's ready to be published already. And I know now it's all right, getting ready. I think she's launching it in November. And the marketing around publishing a book is a
Mm.
big deal too. Do you help people with that, or do you have some ideas that you found have been really helpful for when people for marketing the book once it comes out?
Sure. So, one of the things you want to remember is why are you writing the book in the first place? And go back to that vision statement or that mission statement, and don't forget about that. So refresh yourself about why you're getting it. Maybe it's for more clients. Maybe it's to get speaking gigs and things like that nature, because it drives me bananas when people write a book. They're like, okay, how do I sell more books? How do I become a bestseller? Like those entirely possible to become an Amazon bestseller. You can do it in a day, but is it really getting in front of the readers that you want to get in front of, who can turn into clients, who can help support and grow a business? So keep the main thing the main thing. That said, there are always like launch activities that I recommend people do. Putting your book on Amazon, having a robust description of your book on Amazon, having a thumbnail of your cover, and they have a new thing called A plus content. That's 3 images stacked right on top of each other and like a billboard. And that's an additional design component to help spice up your Amazon sales page. So I recommend that you have those images created. And then that you get some colleagues, mastermind partners to buy the book and review it. So you get 5 to 10 reviews, good reviews of your book, and that provides like an anchor on Amazon. So then when somebody who doesn't know you goes and looks at the book, here you go, Connie, you're going to get your wish with my cat's tail.
I love it.
when when somebody who doesn't know you goes and looks at your book's page on Amazon, they're like, oh, this is a real book. Like, people have bought this book and have reviewed this book. So those are some initial activities that you don't want to overlook. And after that, it is about, posting on social media and making that book part of your marketing, that you do the messages that are in the book, share them on social media, do videos about them, speak about them, but you have them right there, right? And while you're speaking, mention your book, put links in the bottom of your emails. It's not rocket science. It's just some tasks that you have to do, and that will provide for a good launch of your book.
That is such great advice. And right there, within about 2 minutes, you jam packed all kinds of fantastic ideas. So thank you for that. Super helpful. I'd like
Let
to,
me give just the one, if I could. Let me give
yeah,
just the one. I mean, this is what you do. To use your book as a big business card and to build your business, you make a list of the top 20 people that you would like to work with. You order copies of your book. It's going to cost you about $3 a copy, author's copy. All right. You write a little letter here, I would love for you to have a copy of my book or something like that. You tuck it in with the book and send it off to your ideal client, to somebody that you want to work with. You can find their email address usually online. they will get that. Who's shipping books to people? Like nobody. Like it's going to make an impression, and it's not a business card that they picked up at a networking event along with 25 others. It is a book, and people don't throw away books. People like look at them and they see the value of them, and it showcases you as a credible expert. So why, that is the key. And it'll take you 2 hours to do for maybe, $100, including postage. To me, that kind of dedicated promotion to get your book in front of the people who matter, that's really my number one recommendation for launching your book. Do it to 20 people and sit back, and you'll probably be surprised at the results.
And that's something you can do over and over as time goes
Yeah,
by, right? Right.
right.
A month later, who's the next 20 people? Get that out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have a client kept some in the trunk of her car, was at her kid's soccer game, sat next to somebody who was like looking for a financial advisor. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a financial advisor. Let me get you a copy of my book. Here, I'll sign it for you." I mean, it just makes such a great impression.
Sticks
So
with you. Oh,
yeah,
really
absolutely.
does.
And also we all know, like we have email lists, we have social media connections and all that, but individuals hire individuals, right? People hire people. And it's when you get down to those specific focus actions, that's really what can make the biggest difference.
Mhm. All right. Now, I want to ask you about your latest project, Ask and It Is Written, because that is one of those inspirations that came to you, right? That I recall being in a group where you first even were talking about this idea initially. And I tell you what, Donna is such an inspiration because she will have an idea and she will bring it to life faster than anyone I've ever known. And that's what you did with this. So will you share about this? Because I feel like this is your latest passion project.
It is. It is. So yeah, spirit woke me up in the middle of the night. It wasn't in the shower this time. It was the middle of the night. And this idea of Ask and It Is Written came to me. I'm a big of a follower, and I love Esther Hicks and her book, Ask and It Is Given. And I love her messaging. And just given my focus of writing, Asking Is Written, I'm like, oh, that is perfect. And I'm actually getting things started here with some prayer circles for Asking Is Written. And I'm kind of looking at it as the life coachy side of me. I have the business side with the book writing, but I have a real powerful spiritual connection with the universe. And I think that we all can use some calm, some relaxation, especially over the next few months as things are coming. And I thought, you know what? Why wait? I'm getting started with this. So we're starting with some prayer circles. In January, we're going to have some journaling circles. And then after that, I'm going to have some leadership circles as well. And they'll be free and open to anybody who wants to join us for any of these circles. And then each of them have leaders that have been certified, prayer leaders, journaling leaders, and leadership. And they have a journal or a planner of their own that's produced by our Done For You publishing company. So I'm really looking at, Connie, I have to say that like, I can kind of see it in my mind, but I'm also feeling my way of how this is expanding and growing. But the group that I'm starting with the prayer circles, it really is magical. And to me too, just a little bit like it's for healing, and we have more in common than we have not in common with each other. And I feel things like scripture and inspirational quotes and affirmations belong to all of us. And so I want to, and I am building a community around this. And I'm super, super excited.
Mm, fantastic. Thank you for sharing about that. And which leads me, I was going to ask this last, but I think it's really important now. What is the best way to reach you? If somebody wants to explore anything that you've talked about, where should they go?
The best thing to do is go to freebookplanner.com and pick up your free book planner. You'll opt in, and then you'll get on my list, and you'll get information about our free coffee cooler and study halls, our publishing, my publishing and promotion mastermind, the prayer circles and more that we have with Asking and It's Written, getting started. So again, it's freebookplanner.com.
Okay, thank you. And I know I brought you here specifically to talk to business owners. I'd also like to share that Donna certainly does not limit her book support to business. I mean, you have helped people write such a variety of books. My mind just went to the one with who the author was with, John Denver, for so many
Oh,
years.
yes,
Yeah,
right.
would you share a little bit about, maybe
Sure.
some of the types of books that jump out at you that you were just so happy to be a part of? Maybe that
Right.
one or maybe others?
Yeah, that was a biggie. I got a call about 3 years ago from a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, I have to introduce you to this guy, Lowell Norman. He's writing a book about his 25 years of working with John Denver." And I'm like, okay. So I talked to Lowell on the phone, and he has like thousands of photographs and these stories that he wrote and all that. And this was a case where I'm like, I can help you, but this is something that you'll want to pursue a traditional book publisher, so they can do a coffee table book, or something on a wider scale. And he's like, will you help me with that? And I'm like, it's really not my thing, but okay, because this was like a project, one in a million projects. So this is one where we sought out, did a book proposal and all that. And he published his book, Rocky Mountain Highway, in May of this year. And it's doing pretty well. The publisher's actually asking and talking about a second book. So that was cool and groovy. And also, just so everybody knows, it used to be where if you self-publish, you couldn't get a traditional publisher. Like, you had to pick a path. But these days you can build your audience and build your author platform, and you could still be picked up by a traditional publisher because they are looking for successful authors. So that was that was a big one, Rocky Mountain Highway. I have worked with fiction authors, poetry authors. It's really any way that any message that you have that you want to share in a book, we can help you with.
Beautiful. You have given so much fabulous information during just this short amount of time, but I'd just like to ask, is there anything else that comes to your mind that you'd like to share, um, maybe specifically for business owners, but it certainly doesn't have to be something that we haven't covered that's just coming to mind right now that you'd like to share?
Yes, I would. We've been talking about the emotional part, and like, creating your message and putting yourself out there, and writing a book will give you confidence and things. Sometimes we stumble in getting started. We wonder, is anybody going to read this, or who would read this, or what do I have to say? And, there's always, it's already been written or something like that. So two things on that. First of all, you bring your unique thumbprint to your content and the stories that you share and the quotes that you share, the steps that you share, whatever it might be. So be good with that and just know that. And then in relation to that, number two is look at it as a job. There is magic involved in all of that. But when I worked at Erie Insurance, when my boss came over and said, I want you to write a speech for the CFO, I couldn't say, well, I don't feel like it today, or, I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. It was like, okay. And so if you give yourself the assignment, I'm going to write a book, I think it helps take some of that emotional charge out of it. If you could look at it as a job, here's step one, here's step two, here's step three, almost even like a reporter. I call it putting on your reporter's hat. And it's just like taking the emotional charge out, just the facts, and get started. And I think that'll give you the momentum to get it done.
Oh, perfect piece of advice. That reminds me, one of my accountability partners has authored, boy, probably 5 or 6 books right now. And oftentimes they're based on his hikes. He goes on these incredible hikes all over California, Canada, East Coast. And when he sits down to do it, he treats it like a job, just like you've described. He gets up an hour earlier every day, and that first hour is book writing time, and held it just religiously. And it just, you get into that habit and made it come to life and got it done. Because you're right. I imagine for so many people, it feels really exciting at the beginning, and then, life happens, and then,
Right.
or just like I talk to business owners who let the marketing go because they have all of these other commitments, and like, your marketing, you're your biggest client, that needs to be the first thing you're thinking about every day. And so making that a job, so I love the way you've pulled that together. When you've made that decision, really be consistent and stick with it even on the days that you just don't feel like it.
Right. And just imagine it's an assignment that came from a boss. We don't question it. We do it.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Thank you, Donna. This has been so helpful. I so appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom. I cannot encourage people enough who are watching or listening, whether it's live or on the replay, to go to freebookplanner.com, download that, get involved in Donna's community. I know you'll so appreciate having taken that move. And Donna, thank you so much for being here. I just loved having the opportunity to chat with you and appreciate you helping the people who are here in my audience.
My pleasure. Thank you.